Modernism was a movement in every sense of the early 20th century. This movement started as a consequence of the Industrial Revolution. Modernism in architecture looks for the simplification of form but putting excessive ornaments to the main structure. Can be identified by three different principles of modernism architecture: the expression of volume rather than mass, balance rather than preconceived symmetry, and the explosion of applied ornament. A perfect example of modern buildings is Casa Mila. Casa Mila, commonly known as La Pedrera, is the largest civil building designed by Antonio Gaudí, and was built during the years 1905 to 1910, being considered officially completed in 1912. It is considered a famous imaginative house in the history of architecture. Casa Mila is located in Barcelona, Spain, and it was Gaudí's last work before devoting himself to the construction of the Sagrada Familia. It was declared a World Heritage Site in 1984.
La Pedrera was built for the married couple Rosario Segimon and Pere Milá. The design by Gaudí was not followed in some aspects. The local government objected to some aspects for the project, fined the owners for many infractions of building codes, ordered the demolition of aspects exceeding the height standard for the city, and refused to approve the installation of a huge sculpture atop the building. It was the Virgen del Rosario. Casa Mila was in poor condition in the early 1980s. It had been painted a dreary brown, and many of its interior color schemes had been abandoned or allowed to deteriorate. But it has since been restored and many of the original colors revived. The building covers an area of more than 100 square meters and includes two large circular patios, so that almost every part of the house gets its share of sunlight. It is constructed entirely in natural stones and lacking all the colors and ornamentation design.
It is unconventional because it breaks with traditional architecture by using not a single straight line. The building does not use load-bearing walls, but rests on pillars and arches. Together with the use of steel, this allowed the architect to create completely irregular floor plans. Even the height of the pillars and ceilings differ from one to another. In order to allow light in all the rooms, the apartments are arranged around two central courtyards, one circular and the other oval-shaped. On the outside, the undulating balconies look like a series of waves. Some people see the facade as a cliff-like rock, with caves such as the steep cliff walls in which African tribes build their cave-like dwellings. The wavy facade reminds one also of an undulating beach of fine sand formed. But Gaudí created a paradox, an artificial but natural building which was simultaneously a summary of all the forms that he has since become famous for. The roof sports an imitation of the bench from Park Well as an ever more impressive series of bizarre chimney stacks.
Otherwise, the apartment on the top floors gives an idea of how the interior must have looked at the beginning of the 20th century. Just like in the outside, the interior has virtually no straight lines. The attractive rooms have a lot of character, giving the building that modernist condition with a mixture of expressionist and Art Nouveau styles. Also, there is the roof, which is probably the most extraordinary of the building. It features a number of surrealistic, colorful chimneys. The roof also features a bench similar to the one in Park Well. From the top of Casa Mila, you have a nice view over the example district. Nowadays, the Casa Mila is a property of Caixa Catalunya, and some parts of the building are open to visits because it functions as a museum. for the building exposition, some Gaudí expositions, and expositions of the Cultural Center of Caixa Catalunya.